We are so pleased to welcome to set today Erika Christensen, who's the Educational Services Supervisor for PACTV. Welcome, Erika.
Thank you, Julie.
We're going to talk about your summer documentary program that you've been doing with some youth. But before we get into that, let's tell the viewing audience a little bit about what an Educational Services Supervisor does for the young people in our schools.
So I specifically work for Kingston Regional Silver Lake High School. Most recently I've been working my way into the Pembroke High School as well, but I help the students learn how to use a camera, how to conduct research, how to actually interview people if they need to. So if they're looking to do a promotional piece, whether it be a PSA, working with another teacher, I'm there for them to help them create that project.
So students these days, they love to use their phones to take videos and they put things on YouTube, and that's a big thing. So you actually help them learn how to tell a story.
Yes.
And that's not as easy as a lot of people think.
No, it's not.
Speak to that.
So a lot of people have ideas, which they can be a great idea, but they don't know how to actually put it together in a cohesive piece.
Yeah.
So I'm there to help them, guide them along the way, not doing it for them, but showing them the right steps of how to actually tell a story, whether it be a promotional piece or something to that effect.
Right.
So there's always a story to be told.
That's right. And students, especially students these days, are so in tuned with instantaneous things.
Yes.
So learning to be able to do something quickly and effectively is really your objective.
Right.
And then they also use it for school projects, correct?
Yes. Yeah, so speaking of which, I have been starting a new independent study program with one of the creative writing teachers over there. So he gives me a student that I get to work with throughout the whole year. And last year I had a student, phenomenal young man, who would take his poetry and turn it into something visual. He was a phenomenal writer, beautifully written, and then he was able to take this camera and turn it into something amazing that he's never done before.
Right, right. So he had two venues for that message. That's wonderful. Now, talk a little bit about the summer program itself, which we have here at PACTV, the summer documentary program.
Yes. So what it is a 2-week documentary workshop where students come in. It's 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, so from 12 to 15 years of age. Okay. They get to learn how to use a camera, how to conduct research, how to interview, how to shoot actually in the field. Yep. And then the second week is all about editing, packaging, graphics, putting it all together and telling that story.
Right.
So throughout the 2 weeks, there's a bunch of different activities. We play games, we kind of intermingle with them a little bit, and it's amazing to see their progression from day 1 to day 10. And they all become like best friends by the end of the 2 weeks, which is great.
And what do you think the biggest thing they learn is by working on a cohesive project like this together, from soup to nuts, from figuring out what you're going to even do to a finished product?
I think the biggest thing that they learn is how to tell a story. They don't realize how much work actually goes into it of telling it the right way, because you may have a thought, you may be able to say the thought, but you can't put it together in the correct order. Yeah. So that's the biggest thing that they take away.
Okay, so we are really lucky. We're going to have a little preview right now of the summer documentary that you've done for this year. And what is it about?
So this year we did a documentary about dogs, but more specifically behind the psychology of why they need to be socialized to prevent dog bites within the community.
Okay, so how to treat a dog so it doesn't bite you.
Yes,
basically.
Exactly.
Okay, wonderful. So we're going to take a look at this and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Most people don't realize that when a dog turns their head, that means that they really do not want to be approached.
People love dogs so much that they want to go up and approach and touch every dog. And if they just wait for a dog to take their time and approach them at their own pace, dogs would appreciate it more.
They're not subtle creatures. They're very good at telegraphing what they're thinking. And I think that with even just 5 minutes of training or watching a few YouTube videos, you can recognize when a dog is scared or when they're feeling aggressive or when they want you to approach or don't want you to approach.
When you want to ask the owner if they like to be pet, and you can also ask where they like to be pet, because some dogs are hand shy, meaning that if we reach for them, they don't want us to pet on top of their head. They'd rather us touch their chest or under their chin.
Dogs sometimes are frightened by fast movements or loud noises or little kids that move fast and don't know their own hand strength. Any of those things can make a dog afraid. And unfortunately, sometimes when dogs are afraid, they lash out and they do things that they're embarrassed of later, same as everybody. But in their case, it can cause some really significant harm.
When people are nervous, they're more likely to get bit than when they're relaxed.
If they feel uncomfortable in a situation, they should trust their instinct. If something's giving them the creeps or they feel the hair go up on the back of their neck, it means walk away.
So I think just being aware of what a dog looks like when he's happy or when he's scared or when he's approachable or not, is the best way to do that. And then being aware of how the dog's acting as you approach him.
And as far as breed discrimination, it really has to do with their temperament.
I don't think that there's one breed that is more awful than another. It's really all about figuring out if the individual dog gets along well with other dogs or other people.
Not that pit bulls and bully breeds are more likely to cause a problem. It's that if they do, it's going to be a big problem.
Speaking of pit bulls and that type of breed, I know hundreds of these dogs. I have one. Almost every member of my staff has one too, and they're all some of the sweetest, nicest, most gentle dogs I've ever met. My own personal dog, I think, is the most trustworthy and lovely dog that I know. That being said, she's a powerful dog, and I think that pit bulls and the like aren't any more aggressive than any other breed. In some cases, I think less, but I think that when they do get aggressive, they do a lot more damage than other breeds.
So this dog here, if he bit you, it might not even cause damage. However, a pit bull is much stronger. They have a stronger head, stronger jaw, and they can be stronger personalities.
You have to be cautious with powerful dogs because there are physical superiors and they could potentially hurt us if we misread them or if we provoke an aggressive response. But I don't think that any particular breed is more aggressive than any other. Some of the nicest dogs I know are Rottweilers or German Shepherds or pit bulls.
Oh, I love dogs.
I know.
It must have been so much fun to work with them.
It was. It really was. And the kids had a fantastic time being able to be on the floor with them, interact with them a little bit. And I mean, you could see some of the shots where the dogs would just come right up to the camera. It was just so cute.
And you don't think of socializing with dog. I mean, when I was small growing up, there was no leash laws. Dogs ran wild. And
yeah.
I think they were just more part of the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Where now they go to
They're everywhere.
Doggy daycare
Yeah.
in the mornings, and you have to really be careful with how you interact with them.
Right. And I didn't realize that when you're walking down the street, some dogs don't want to be touched.
Yeah.
And if there's a stranger carrying their dog around, don't run out, don't try to touch the dog. They don't like it.
Right, or
you know?
ask.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
if
ask
the dog
permission.
comes up to you, just stay still, ask the owner, is it okay?
Yep.
And then go ahead and proceed. And
Right.
just make sure you're absolutely aware of the personality of the dog.
The dog. Then you'll
Yeah.
both have a joyful experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now in our last minute or so, talk about the different documentaries that you've done over the past few years.
So over the past few years, we've done a couple different documentaries. When we first started doing it, we did it on shark tagging in Duxbury, and then we did it on the Fideli's Chocolate Shop in both Pembroke and Plymouth.
Yeah.
We have done the perspective of Thanksgiving from the Wampanoags.
Yeah.
And then last year, we did a documentary on the importance of aquaculture through Eileen Creek oysters.
Excellent. So the kids are not only getting experience with learning how to put together a documentary from soup to nuts, they're also learning a whole new industry each time you're
Right.
doing, or not necessarily an industry, but a whole philosophy, a whole way of being.
Right.
That otherwise they may not have been exposed to.
Right. So not only are they learning about the camera and all the different types of equipment and editing, but they're also learning something else, whatever the topic may be.
Yeah.
So it's a learning experience throughout, no matter what they're doing.
That's great. And you've been award-winning with these documentaries?
We have been award-winning with these documentaries. We have submitted to the Telly Awards and the Indie Fest Awards.
And you've won each year, I believe.
year,
That's
yes.
fabulous.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you, Erika.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you for joining us. And thank you for watching. If you want to see the show again, you can check out our website, and PCN is also on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook to get up-to-date info. PCN will be taking the next 3 weeks off, but we will be returning to the airwaves the second week of September. We will see you again soon, but in the meantime, from all of us at PACTV, have a great week.